What I have for you guys today is a really cool set of mini crawler obstacles for your indoor fun. It's from CrawlerPark.com. I've heard of them. I finally have them in my hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the different options that they have available. There's a really cool set, 120 bucks for a set of 5 that is worth getting for sure. I am going to compare them to the alternatives. There's other people doing laser cut wood and also a kind of a papier-mâché by Kyosho. So I'll show you those as well. And if you hang on to the end, they have something really special. It's a setup table for mini crawlers and 10 scale crawlers. So some pretty interesting stuff for the hobby. All right, so here we go. CrawlerPark.com. And what makes this company really special is they seem to really know wood and laser cutting. So I've seen other products like this before, but this one is like, wow, they have the detail that is insane. You know, they could probably make different objects out of the wood that they do. Very fine quality, and they even have moving parts. So right here they have a pivoting system that is very secure. You know, this is so light, but it's pretty darn strong. You can go like this, or maybe go like that. Really steep. So a little smaller scale than what I've seen before. I think it was originally for 1/24th scale, but as you can see, the 1/18th, the classic 1/18th, they still fit. But if you keep widening your width of your crawler, it might not fit anymore. So it's almost an exact fit currently. So very cool stuff. This one is kind of the welcome bridge. So really kind of fascinating the way it pivots and stores, has some practical value. And then this one is an obstacle park that is pretty darn nice because, check this out, because you know you want portal axles and clearance and whatnot, but you never really get a chance to test them out. But something like this is really going to stress your vehicle if you don't have the clearance. So pretty cool thing here. And then something that is in line with their moving part situation is this thing, kind of a seesaw, but a seesaw with one thing is like not really useful because there's no really chance of failing. This one, it is a staggered seesaw, so you could fall off because if your car has bad side hilling, it's gonna flip over right there. And then it kind of keeps its position when you're here. So pretty good. You could go both ways. The pivoting system is just kind of fascinating. Like how do they get a hinge, you know, with just wood? And then getting into the fancy stuff, the two other things they have are super fancy. This thing is an articulation test. It's hard to really fail on it unless your vehicle just is, oh, maybe my kind of shelf queens will fail on this, but anything with articulation, it's gonna go through it. So it's pretty cool. And what's kind of fascinating about this particular piece is how they were able to curve the wood. You know, how you curve wood like this is you laser cut it like halfway, like a million times. So amazing that they have the machinery to do it. And then finally, one of the most fascinating pieces from them is this guy. This is your Sidehill Ramp. And what's really special about this is it's not just a ramp. Every peg piece of board here is moving. So you can change the height of this if you want. But look at that. How did they do that? You know, I don't know where the company's from. The instructions, the videos are pretty bad because there's no audio, no speaking at all. But I think they're from Spain, is what I can gather. But they are the masters of material and laser cutting. So what I saw in the photos, you can't really see unless it's in video and it's explained to you. That's what you're getting. It's not cheap, but it's not unreasonable either. 120 for a bunch of most of the things that I showed you. And then they have another line of features that are more traditional. These are like just slats of wood, and this is very sturdy. You can stand on it. It's not going to go anywhere. And it also showcases what's really cool is you can go this way easy and hard, and they have steps. So you could tell these guys really crawl because of where the steps are. And I like that some of their stuff is kind of difficult. because then you can see that your vehicle can't do it. And I have like 30 option parts for this guy, and I'm gonna keep adding them one by one until they can do. So you can do kind of cause and effect or before and after scenarios. And something good that they show in your capabilities is they're able to print on the wood, colored printing. How do they do that? It's just fascinating. So pretty darn cool. And then the other thing I promise you is, what if you don't like this? What if you it's too small or too expensive? The other options you have, the traditional one when mini crawlers came out, are these papier-mâché boards from, this one's from Kyosho, and I think $80 for a set of 5, so you could stack them together and whatnot. Not so hard, you know. They're good for the Kyosho cars because those are not super capable, but you know, kind of cool. You could create something with your kid, or maybe I could just combo this, together. Also, these guys, you'll see in my video, they have a carpet where you lay these out on, and these little obstacles have these little teeth, so they bite on their carpet and pretty much any carpet as well. So they don't really slide around. So good option to have. The other option is an American company right here, and they're the Hangar RC, and this is something called the Wave. So a little bigger scale and a little more rough cut, so not as fine as these guys, as you can see, but reasonable as well. And what they bring to the table, they have a lot of configurability, so replayability. You can they're kind of Lego pieces. You can move this way or that way, so you can have like a different course every time. The CrawlerPark, they're not really that configurable. Pros and cons, obviously, the detail is amazing. It's just, they're even etching the wood, you know, like they have like the wood has character and whatnot, you know, the grain on the wood. Look at that, like a little imperfection. Amazing. The moving parts, very good. You could store them, they're not so big. And then the packages are pretty cool. You know, I thought they were a little expensive, but then I saw 5 of these for 120. Toys In, I think, is the retailer. I'll have a link in the description. And that is pretty darn cool. All right. So the weaknesses is, the assembly is cool. They just come together perfectly. I had my wife do this, and she was fascinated when it came together. And it's like, wow. So a lot of engineering, a lot of knowledge of materials. On the weaknesses part, some of the pieces individually are a little pricey. Amazon, and then the videos are not awesome. You know, they're just fast and there's no words whatsoever. You know, there's not any explanation of what's going on, so you'll have to figure some of the stuff out yourself. And then if there's another weakness, it's just they're a little small, meaning at a certain point, 16 scale is not going to fit, but if you have a wide 18 scale, it might not fit or have a hard time. So, but really, a fascinating option. You're going to see this on my channel. I'm going to be using it a lot. By the way, speaking of the channel, the way I make my living is through advertising and affiliate links. So I don't have affiliate links for this CrawlerPark, but you know, you want any of these, this is like, I made a video through my links. I sold 90 in like a few days. Amazing, 90 units. And I know only like 5% of you guys buy through the links. Most people buy direct. So, but at 90 units, that kind of helps. And then, so the last thing I'm going to show you guys is a setup table from CrawlerPark. They have both 18 scale, 24 scale, and 110 scale. And what I have is a 10 scale. This right here, what is it? It is a way to measure your crawler. So it's good for the channel, right? You know, I can see what the numbers bring in terms of side hilling and whatnot. And then when I make some mods, I can have some improvement. But this really shows you how good these guys are with their machining and mastery. So right there, it's an articulation ramp right here, and it's got lines. Side hill. So if you're looking to improve your side hill movement, this is a good ramp. They also have approach angles. or and departure angles. There's a stop here. So they thought of a lot of things. And then finally, one cool thing they have is, which doesn't work so well, is this thing measures your steering angle. So CrawlerPark.com, they have this in 10th scale and mini crawler. But there you go. It's just some fascinating toys that were sent to me, and I'm glad to share it with you guys. Thank you very much.